What's cracking, Spolders? MANdler here at the Man Cave. Got some big news coming up for y'all in a couple weeks about both the squat and the deadlift. So if you give a damn about upping your man quotient, upping your 1 rep max in both of these, I want to whet your appetite right now. Get you all moist before I drop some big news on you. Want to talk about stance with both the squat and the deadlift. I'll start with squat first. One of the biggest misnomers about both the squat and the deadlift is that they will cause injuries. They can cause injuries if you do them the wrong way, but what you'll find about being able to lift big weights is that typically the people that are able to build, ridiculous amounts of weight on their total are ones that are able to lift very efficiently. And part of that, the main part, is knowing proper form, and when you have proper form, it's going to make it safe, and it's going to allow you to recruit the proper muscles responsible for moving the weight very quickly and efficiently. So let's first start talking about the squat. The first thing I want to talk about the squat, very simple. I want to give you a quick tip on this stance is that I do like a wide stance. Now, what I want you to think about whenever you're in your stance, driving from your heels on the outside of your heels, I want you to push the ground apart. Think about spreading the floor. What that's going to do is it's going to allow you to help recruit the right muscles responsible for the big squat. It's going to be your hamstrings, your ass, your back, okay? Another thing too, a lot of times when they do this, a lot of people when they do this, they have a bad tendency to bring their knees in some. So what I really want you to do is think about over-exaggerating. Think about pointing your knees this way, completely straight out. When you do that, you're automatically going to put yourself in a far better position to recruit the right muscles and to really get that big squat that you want. All right, there's obviously more tips about that, but the squat, even though it's a very simple movement pattern, is a very complex lift. So I could go on and on about that, but that was just a quick tip. So good wide stance, weight on the outside of your heels, and spread the floor in order to recruit your hamstrings, your ass, and your awesomeness, okay? Other thing, deadlift. Let's talk about stance there. If you're going to do conventional deadlifts are, to me, very, it's about as simple as a movement it is possible, just picking up a damn weight. But again, it's very complex in its execution, all right? Simple movement patterns like the squat, bench, and deadlift are very simple if you look at them, but there's a lot going on there and they're very complex. Very small changes can yield very big results. And funny thing is about these simple movements, the core lifts, is that they're going to be able to get you far more results than anything else. So, sorry, I got kind of tied up and blabbling there, but anyway, okay, the squat stance, that's addressed. What I want to talk about now is the deadlift. Conventional deadlift, the biggest mistake I see people make, which causes injury, is and leads to just a shitty deadlift, is not being able to recruit the proper muscles responsible for initiating the deadlift. I'm talking about posterior, all right? A lot of people initiate the deadlift from the ground up using their back. You don't want that. That will screw your shit up, all right? I don't want that and you don't want that. So let's address this. It's really the same principle I like to think of with the squat. You have to learn how to initiate the hamstrings and the ass. And to do that, I keep a very narrow stance. My feet are directly underneath my hips with my toes ever so slightly out. All right, I don't want to have them straight out like I would with a squat, because it's going to lead to me having to over rotate my hips, and that could lead to some lower back pain. So or lower back injury rather. So what I want you to do with that, do the same thing I told you with the squat. Spread the floor, but focus on keeping your feet close in to where they're directly underneath your hips. All right? The thing is, the wider your stance on a conventional deadlift, the more chance you have of having your knees come in, which is not good. So hopefully that helps. Like I said, there are tons of different tips I can throw out there for you. I could talk all day about the complexity and all the different cues you need for a badass lift, but don't got enough time for today. So enjoy those tips. If you have some more questions about either squat, deadlift, bench, or whatever it is that you want to know from me, send a question my way. GoEliteSC@gmail.com. Subject line, Ask MANdler. Stay tuned for Friday's Flex Friday. It's a good one. I think you'll really appreciate it if you want to get jacked, ripped, and just become that explosive ass-kicking machine that you want to. But stay tuned for that. It's going to be badass. And like I said, send me your questions. GoEliteSC@gmail.com. Subject line, Ask MANdler. Have a good night, Swolders. MANdler. Out.